All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Brian, and this is Amy News and Conversation. We're here during Sterilization Standards Week 2025. And joining me today is one of our Standards Development Award winners, Atila Nozari. Now, you have a large bio, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself in a second, but I just wanted to highlight some key factors that could help people understand what makes a Standards Developer Award winner. You've been involved in 20 different standards development projects between multiple groups like ISO and AMI, even the Canadian Standards Development Organization. And then on top of that, you also publish quite a lot and you've been involved in a lot of different task groups. So let's dive into that. But first things first, introductions. Who are you?
Thank you. I'm Attila. So I am a part of the Solventum group. So what I do, I manage a standards activity globally for our company, but also I'm a senior medical liaison, and I'm heavily involved with standard development activities. And as you mentioned, it's not just focused in US or Canada, it's globally because when we are thinking about patient safety, there's no limits, there's no line, there's no region. We are looking for patient safety globally. So that's what I do.
Oh no, we'd love to hear it. And we'll dig into some of those projects a little later in this conversation, but I wanted to open things up with a very straightforward question that I hope a lot of our viewers, a lot of our members are wondering right now, which is how do you get involved in standards and why should you get involved in standards? So what brought you as part of standards first and foremost?
Well, actually, my first involvement with standard goes back to maybe 15 years ago, so it
Mhm.
goes a long way. I started with the quality systems actually, and then my role shifted, and I was less active with the standards until I joined the medical device manufacturing company several years ago, which I re-engaged my activity with the standards, and then realizing that the standard work that you do is going to what's the end goal? It's going to help improve patient safety. You are
Mhm.
going to improve patient outcome, and also, of course, device innovation. And that's really, I believe, it was a great motivation for me to continue, and of course, support from our company as well to do standard works.
No, that's great. You're highlighting that true good, that North Star of patient safety that a lot of our standards developers talk about. But I was also curious about your personal interest in this because as we were talking about a little bit earlier off camera, you were a bit of an academic, career academic, right? You have multiple degrees. What was it, 6 degrees?
Yes.
6 degrees. Are there any that you're particularly proud of that you want to bring attention to?
I mean, they are in different fields.
Mhm.
That's so interestingly. So they're in public management, so general management. It's in IT, actually, information technology.
Okay.
And the other three or four, they are in different aspects of actually chemistry. So touching in organic chemistry, inorganic polymer synthesis, and basically, they are my latest ones.
Well, that's great though, because when I talk to standards developers, I think a lot of them are scientists, right? We have a lot of career academics who want to influence our scientific understandings of things, and then that has to be standardized into best practices. But then that project management side is so essential. So you kind of have that. I guess it makes sense then that you're getting a standards developer award. You have that perfect storm, that cocktail of expertise. That said, though, what at what point during this career path did you say, "Oh, I want to become more and more involved in this standards development process because it's so essential"? When did you figure that out?
I would say that was when I joined, as I mentioned, when I joined a medical device manufacturing company.
Okay.
And that was the time I realized that the importance of what the standards they have. So standards are, it's a collaborative work. It's not just one person job, one team job. It's not
Right.
one stakeholder. It's not industry. It is standard work is basically all these people sitting together, and these stakeholders are industry, regulatory, end user,
Mhm.
and other stakeholders. And the important you collaborate together to come to a consensus document. And again, the end goal, what's the North Star, right? You know that what you are doing is going to be helpful. You understand that what you are going to do, you can have a meaningful impact, and that's going to help outcome, patient outcome. And that patient at one day would be me or my family.
Yeah.
So this is actually a great feeling that the activities that you do is meaningful. And that was the time I said that, okay, I want to spend much more time, and just no matter that my 9 to 5 job is over, it's over, but I'm going to stay overnight to work on this document because it made me that I realize how important it is, and it requires dedication, it requires passion, it
Right.
requires commitment. It's not just only standard developments. It's in all jobs they will help you. But if you want to be successful in standard development, definitely I would say commitment, passionate, being passionate about, and dedication is important.
No, I love to hear it. When I first joined Amy, it was during COVID, and we had so many committees, probably some that you were a part of, burning the midnight oil, trying to figure things out, trying to get the right information out. It's that
Yeah,
passion. It's that you have to be that kind of
good.
person. So thank you for being one of them. That's fantastic. But I guess that also is a reflection of my next question, which is, what makes a standards development effective? What's the secret sauce? 20 projects
Yeah.
later, what have you figured out?
So collaboration is the key.
Okay.
So I mean, the heart of standard development is collaboration. Again, the idea is that you are not developing it alone. You are in the same table, and around the table are other industry partners,
Hmm,
are other end users, professional organizations, regulatory bodies, and other experts that there. So it's important to have the mutual respect, understanding that people have coming from different stakeholders, they have different viewpoints because they are seeing things from another point of view that you may not seeing that. So being patient with that, understanding and valuing that diversity that we have within a committee, and open communications,
sure.
and all together come back to collaboration. And if you
Yeah.
are open to this collaboration, that's what makes standard development successful. And again, end of the day, we are coming up with the consensus document for the end goal, and we said for us in medical device industries, of course, improving patient outcome, improving the innovation industry, in
Sure.
healthcare industry.
I'm sure that's probably the scariest entry point for a lot of people thinking about becoming standards developers or participating in standards development, where they say, well, my competitor is going to be in the room. We might argue all the time. How do you reach a consensus then? But it sounds like that's not really a major concern once you get the right people in the room.
Actually, it's not a concern, and actually, that's a part of what makes it beautiful. I mean, there's that you exchange information and you learn it along the way.
Hmm,
It's not that I mean, we know you're expert in one field, or because of the medical device being medical device manufacturer representative, you know the device ins and out because you have spent time, you have other team, you have whole team behind you that they know how it's been designed, and there are some information you share with others and learn from other people. And end of the day, this document is not for one person. A
right.
document is going to affect everyone who is reading it. We want to have a document basically is implementable and beneficial to all the stakeholders. And these arguments along the way, yes, we face it. We have these documents. I mean, we have these arguments, but we are learning from each other. And as long as we are in mutual respect and understanding, as I mentioned, actually, it's a good thing.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's great to hear. Let's dig into some of the projects that you have personally been involved in. Is there any that you wanted to bring attention to that you're particularly proud of? You love to see it implemented today?
So they're, as you mentioned, they're different. So I have contributed to more than 20 different working groups in
Right.
3 different countries. I mean, mainly US and Canada, but also globally, right?
Right on the
So
isolate.
there are so many. If I want to list it, will be a
It will
long,
be here
long
a
one.
while.
But I can talk about the most recent one. The most recent one is actually we are working on a document which is the testing, labeling, and designing and it's instruction for use document. It's
Okay.
for a medical device manufacturer. It is working group 12 by Amy, and now we are in committee draft 1. And again, anyone who's interested wants to share this document, wants to share his ideas about documents, I recommend them to join because it is for manufacturer, but I said we want everyone's input, right? It is for manufacturer, but we want end user input in that document, and in the end, we want to be beneficial document for everyone. So
Yeah.
if you're interested, then please join. And one of actually my recommendations is that anyone who wants to join, think about, okay, what's your expertise is, definitely, because you want to bring your experience and expertise to the table.
Sure.
That's one. You want to share that knowledge with other people, and other people will benefit from that. So join a relevant group that's aligned with your basically your expertise, and participate. And that's it. We learn along the way as well.
Well, I'm glad you brought up TIR 12, Technical Information Report 12, because this is also a really strong example of a committee that needs, or a working group that needs so much input from all different areas. The scope is so wide. Correct. Ultimately it will be a document that is informing instruction for use, so it's informing manufacturers, right? But the people who you need at the table for a good instruction for use has to be those end users. It has to be the people using it, correct?
Yes.
Are you seeing that level of participation right now?
Yeah, it is. That's very nice to see, and also not just some, of course, regulatory bodies as well. I said we are
Sure.
different
Yeah.
stakeholders. Regulatory bodies are very important. Their input is very valuable. End user, definitely, because end of the day, they will use the documents.
Right.
This is TIR for manufacturer, but it's still getting the getting the input from people that who will be their end user of the document. It makes the document beneficial and usable for everyone, right? Especially for the group.
That's perfect. Well, Attila, thank you so much for talking to me today about standards, and congratulations on being named our one of our Amy Award winners, our Standards Development Award winner. Is there anything else you wanted to share with our viewers before we hop off?
Yeah, of course. But one thing I want to start with, I'm greatly honored by this award,
Mhm.
and especially coming this award coming from Amy, is a very reputable standard developing organization. It makes it really more meaningful and valuable for me. So I want to
I love
thank
to
you.
hear it. Yeah.
But also, there are actually lots of people. It's just a standard developer award is not just individual may receive it, but it doesn't mean that individual is doing the job. There's a whole team behind it. So I
Sure.
want to actually thank all my colleagues, especially our leadership and Solventum, my managers, supervisors, that they supported me. Also, my fellow committee members in AME, CSA, or ISO, because we work together, we collaborate together, and that collaboration will, will help me to be who I am now, and I'm learning all the way.
Right.
So I want to thank all of them, but also I want to extend my gratitude to my former colleague and mentor, Janet Bruce, who retired from our company, but still she contributes to developing standard activities. I learned a lot from her, and I'm very thankful for her guidance. And actually, it's one thing interesting. She is also one of the co-developers of a course, actually by Amy, about the standards, about the strategic standard participation. And I think it will be very beneficial for everyone who wants to learn more about this.
That's true. And you know what? We'll put a link in the description to that course. It's a brand new course, and it's touching specifically on what standards are, how to get involved, and how to use standards correctly. So I think that's it's fantastic. Thanks for bringing attention to it, and thank you again for joining me today.
Thank you for having me here.
All right, thank you. Beautiful.